Hey guys, Art Decline here, Average Picker. So for Stock Lock Sunday, I thought I would do something a little bit different. This is the ASSA Twin 6000. I have not messed with this lock yet. I have not even looked any information up about it. I know there is a good bit online, but I kind of just wanted to probe around it a little bit on my own before I started diving in. And that's what we're going to do for Stock Lock Sunday, because this is also breast cancer awareness month. And some people have been sharing their stories with it, and I thought I would do the same thing. I would share one of my stories, and because cancer is one of those things that it pretty much has probably affected everybody at some point. So I thought I would share that. I don't have any plans to get this lock open. This is purely a poking and prodding around this thing, but I didn't want to talk about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness and have that overshadow a challenge lock or somebody's pins or something like that while I was doing, So I figured let's do a lock that I'm not going to open and talk a little bit. So yeah, there we go, guys. I'm going to finish my mocha and I'll see you in just a minute. So yeah, we're back. Breast cancer month. My mom, actually, when I was in high school, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she is, 28? Some 28 to 30 year mark, breast cancer survivor. So go mom. And that kind of got me interested into it at a fairly young age, though, too. I was, after she recovered, she stuck around in some support groups, and I went on to sort of help here and there, some fundraiser stuff and things like that. But really, who I wanted to tell you about was my friend Koban. And I met Koban similarly to how I met Sammy, and that was through this online sketching program called Sketch Club. And I would say Koban, though, Koban lived in the United Arab Emirate, and there was absolutely no hope we were ever going to meet or see each other or anything like that. And I think, even though I know people online only and I chat with them occasionally, or we email or whatever, I would consider Koban pretty much my first, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to, second, I don't know. But she was an online relationship, and I use relationship not in the romantic sense. But so Koban felt very alienated in the United Arab Emirates. She had gone there, she did interior design and architecture work, and just cultural differences, some of it just being her personality. All of this left her feeling very alienated. And online was really kind of her life in a way. It's where she met people, and it's where her friends were. And it's how she experienced a lot of those things that go with friendships. So that was a lot different to me. And it took a little bit for me to understand that. And she would get mad at me because she might send me a message, and I'm like, okay, well, it's online. I'll respond to it tomorrow when I have some more time. And she would get really upset. And that's when it occurred to me, like, that was kind of for her the equivalent of, like if you went to go see somebody in real life and rang their doorbell, knew they were home, and suddenly they turned out the lights, and pretended not to be there. And that's when I realized, like, I had to treat that as an actual real relationship. So I'd have to block off time. It's like, okay, I'm going to hang out with Koban some tonight. So that meant, going and sitting at the computer and actively chatting with her. But we got to be pretty close. And stuff is setting. That's a good sign. Koban, she started, I don't know, she was acting really weird. She was getting angry, frustrated very easily, losing her temper very quickly. And we slightly lost contact for a minute and then got back. And it turned out that she, and I don't, honestly, I don't know, I think she'd been doing a self-examination and she had found some lumps. And it had her really worried, rightfully so. the problem, she was worried that it was cancer because, I mean, cancer is not the word you want to hear. But she was also just as worried about the treatment. Because I guess, you hear a lot of horror stories, about, and I'm not saying they're not true or anything. I mean, my mom was quite sick from all the chemotherapy and everything. But she was probably just as afraid of the treatment as she was of cancer itself. And she was on the fence if she even wanted to get it treated. The problem was she didn't know what it was. And we know you can detect false alarms. I mean, there's, lymph nodes can just swell and things like that. And she didn't know because she wasn't going and getting it checked. And so we had a fairly long discussion about it, which basically broke down to me saying, look, right now you're worrying constantly every day. You've got this thing in the back of your head about this, and you don't know what it is. It could be nothing, or it could be something. But if you're going to worry, you should probably at least know what it is. And if it does turn out to be nothing, then you don't have to worry at all. And I told her, I fully supported her decision if she did get checked and it did turn out to be cancer, if she did not want to get treatment. On a certain level, I can understand that. And it's her life to do with it. So she did eventually go get checked. Now, it turned out she's the type of person who doesn't like to bother people with things. And it turned out she had been keeping this a secret for about 6 months. And so by the time she had already then made the decision she would go get it checked, and she actually made an appointment, another month had gone by. And she was diagnosed. She had a very aggressive form of cancer, and she was in stage 4. And now I don't know. We didn't discuss all the details, so I don't know ultimately what made her make the decision, but she did decide to go for treatment. And she had a double mastectomy, and she was getting radiation treatments and stuff, but the cancer had really spread out of her breasts and pretty much everywhere already. And it was really tough to gauge because talking to her, she would stay very positive, but I don't mean positive in necessarily a good attitude sort of way. I mean positive in that you always felt like there was something she wasn't telling you, that she was trying to give you good news for your sake. And so, yeah, she ended up, I think, going to the Philippines to get some of her treatment. She was supposed to go and do some recovery in LA, and we were actually making some plans to meet up at that point. I was giving her a little bit of space just to recover because of the way she treated these online relationships. I didn't want her to feel like she was going to have to be, messaging and talking with me and things like that. So we'd let some time go by and we'd touch base every so often. How you doing? And then we didn't talk about her cancer much. I figured she had enough people and family and stuff in her life that she was probably discussing that regularly. I saw my place with her to just, BS, shoot the shit, and chit chat, and if she wanted to bring it up and discuss it, we would. But yeah, so ultimately though, I mean, it was just, it was too little, too late. And she did pass away from it. And it's very sad. I didn't get a chance to talk to her right towards the end. And I hate it. She had sent me a message actually, and I just had totally not gotten it because I was not expecting it. And I did not have my Hangouts active. And, about 2 weeks before she died, she had tried to message me. And I'm kind of curious what it was, if she knew at that point and was trying to say bye, or what the deal was. Or she just wanted to shoot the shit and talk about sketching or whatever. But I guess the thing here to get across, the two big takeaways with this would be, I think it's easy to kind of dismiss our online presence, and you don't really quite know what your online presence is necessarily like for somebody else. It might be a much bigger thing for them than it is for you. I think it's very easy for us to dismiss online relationships as not real. And for me, her death affected me every bit as much as if I knew her, like as if she lived down the street and we hung out regularly. And that took me by surprise. So, you don't know what impact you're necessarily having with people, or how important your relationship is potentially to them. So, don't take that for granted, though, And the other thing, definitely get checked, and if you think you're detecting something, don't put it off. Go get tested. Find out what it is. Find out for sure, And, I understand. I get it if you don't want to get it treated, but you should at least know what you're dealing with and looking at. Because otherwise, there's just going to be this thing in the back of your head all the time, ruining every day for you. And, I don't want to do the whole cliche life's too short thing. But, you don't want to spend your time worrying about something and not knowing what it is. If you go and find out it is cancer and you decide you're not going to do anything about it, at least now and you can live accordingly, or get treatment, or it's nothing, and then you're completely free of all that worry you've been unnecessarily carrying around. So yeah, get checked. That would be, I guess, ultimately what I'm trying to say here. You should take these health things, and if you detect something, go get it checked and take it seriously, and then make your decision accordingly. So that is the failed pick of the ASSA Twin 6000. And a story about Koban. I'm going to have to get in there and look. I think I understand. I don't think they're pins. They seem to be a little more notched, almost like they have gates, kind of, but they're not dimples either. So, I'm going to have to look those up, see what I can find out about this ASSA Twin. In the meantime, guys, you have a good one. This is a weird video to do. I feel like there needs to be some decompression or something afterwards. I don't know. It's odd to be talking about death of a close friend in this kind of capacity and then also just switch off. So you guys have a good one, and I will talk to you later.